Hi, my name is Toby Thompson. I'm here today with Susan Vinnicombe. Sue is Professor of Women and Leadership here at Cranfield University School of Management. Sue, we've heard the news today and we're celebrating that the FTSE 100 companies have reached the target set this year of 25% of their board positions being filled by women leaders. What role has Cranfield played in that?
Well, Cranfield actually has played a very important role. When I established the centre, the International Centre for Women's Leadership, back in '99, we decided that we wanted to have a bit of a research marker each year, and we decided to look at, well, how many women actually sit on our top corporate boards. So we have been actually measuring the number and counting the number of women on our top corporate boards for 16 years. So needless to say that when the government decided to do an independent inquiry into the lack of women on corporate boards at the back end of 2010, it was fairly obvious that they should use Cranfield and us because we had then become really the experts in the field. So, you know, we really are sort of up to date and aware of all the research globally on women on boards. Now, I know that people often say, you know, what gets measured gets done. That's actually not quite true. I think what gets measured and gets a lot of publicity gets done. And I think it's not just us as researchers at Cranfield, but I should actually pay tribute to our media office, who have actually really acted as active partners all the way along, trying to get journalists engaged in this topic and getting us coverage of our research, which I believe we've done very successfully.
So given this good news, what should happen now? How should we continue?
Well, although we are celebrating, Toby, 25%, in fact, as of this moment, it's 26% on the FTSE 100, and the FTSE 250 are also coming up very fast. They're at 20%. However, there's always a however, I guess, with research findings. The however is the majority of that progress has been made through the appointment of women to non-executive directorships. So I think that we are very aware that the big challenge that lays ahead is why we have so few women in executive directorships. So at FTSE 100 level, this year it's been a bit of a high, but it's at sort of 8.4% of executive directors are women. So that's still very poor considering how well women are doing in education these days.
So how do we sustain that flow of women on boards? What should we do?
Well, I think in order to build this sustainable pipeline of executive women, that's a much bigger exercise. And the discussion now with government is how we follow this very successful kind of 4-year project with Lord Davis, with taking it that step further and looking at the executive pipeline. So the discussion now is, what do we want to focus on? Is it just the executive committee, which is one level below the board? Is it the executive committee and all the direct reports to the executive committees? That is initially what my position would be, and that would probably account for about 100 positions in a major FTSE 100 company. But a number of my colleagues say that's not going far enough down. We're losing women, or women aren't being promoted at the middle levels, and we should go further down. So it's still up for debate at the moment as to what the catchment area is that we should look for in this pipeline.
So clearly you're the expert in this field. A sneak peek. What do you see in the future coming up?
Well, I don't even have to have a sneak view at the future, in that already under the last government, Vince Cable was seeing the progress, the good progress being made on women to the board, and said, OK, our next step is also looking at ethnicity. We see very few black and ethnic minority people on our top board. So actually a new committee has been set up. It's called Focus 2020. It's led by Sir John Parker, Chairman of Anglo-American, who actually is a colleague of mine on Davis. So he's been through the Davis review, and I'm sure we'll want to sort of emulate that successful format. And we're looking at ethnicity, a much thornier topic, Toby, because as you probably know, companies by and large don't measure ethnicity. And secondly, there's a very big discussion about what do we mean by ethnicity in the UK, another challenge. And also the dynamics of it are very, very different in that, you know, you have some groups, like as we've looked at educational background of ethnic minorities in this country, some of them, like Indians and Chinese, often do extremely well at school, whereas you have black young males who do very poorly. So it's a much more complicated project looking at ethnicity. So it's ethnicity and looking at the female executive pipeline are the two big projects coming up now.
Huge challenges. Sue, thank you for your time. I hope we can interview you in a year's time, having some more celebration. And thank you for watching.